Psst, check this out. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Back Channel. In today's episode, I want to do something slightly different. A lot of times I'll talk about red flags. We'll write about red flags, we'll record videos about red flags, but I want to actually talk about green flags, things that might stick in an investor's mind and make them feel positively about what you're doing. And I bring this up because I was hosting a morning event. We do these Dawn Patrol events around the world. And as I was chatting with one of the founders, he kept saying things that really stuck it out in my mind as something that reflected very positively on the founder. So the first one is, as this founder was talking about his robotics company, I was like, what's it called? What's your company's name? And he was like, don't really have a name. I don't think the name really matters right now. We're heads down, trying to build the right product, talking to customers, etc. And I just thought this was such a refreshing thing to hear, especially from a first-time young founder. I remember my first company that got venture-backed, and how long my co-founders and I stressed about the name and how perfect the name had to be around what we were doing. And it is a fun thing to do, and it gives you a lot of pride in your company. But I think that is such a reflection of a poor first-time founder mentality. It is so far from what is important in terms of getting to product market fit. And the thing that I think a lot of founders will run into, that we certainly ran into, was some of the things that we were so attached to and the reason that we liked the name so much turned out to be irrelevant, because by the time we finally got to market and got something that customers actually wanted, we had pivoted 3-4 times. We were pointed in a very different direction. And the name, had a slight nod towards what we were doing, but it wasn't dead on like it was when we had first started. It was a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted energy. And in some cases, when you're so dead set on a certain name and a domain, it might even cost you money. So if you're able to orient yourself to not really care about the name of your company in the very beginning, I think that's amazing. And something that might stick in investors' brains too, if you tell them that. All right, so the problem with fundraising is that it just seems so simple, right? Fundraising is asking people for money. That's the first big problem. The second big problem is that most of the people that are going out to try to fundraise have been trained their whole lives this idea of fake it till you make it. So those two things combined create one of the biggest challenges that I see with startup founders today, which is why I created Adamant Fundraising. It turns out faking it till you make it when it comes to fundraising is a recipe for wasting a ton of time and getting to suboptimal outcomes or just completely failing. And yes, there's a ton of content online that you can find that will give you little bits of what to do. But if you're looking for a way to bring all the best knowledge from somebody that you trust into one place and surround that with a supportive community, live events that will give you great feedback, and other support structures to make sure that you are doing exactly what you need to do to fundraise the right way, well, then I want you to come check out Adamant Fundraising. Adamant Fundraising is our online program and community that has helped hundreds of founders get through the process successfully, has been a part of raising over $400 million, and it's something that we're extremely proud of. So if this sounds like something that could help you out, check out adamantfundraising.com and reach out online, ask any questions. We'd love to consider having you. All right, back to the show. Secondly, with the same founder, I asked him, oh my gosh, well, robotics company, that's probably pretty capital intensive. Are you raising money? Have you raised money? And he was like, we have a lot of opportunities in front of us, but we can do so much in validating what the customer needs without capital, without actually building exactly what we need. And so before we raise a dime of capital, we have a whole plan around talking to customers, making sure we validate exactly what it is we should be building. And man, that really blew me away. Just the amount of maturity to think about validating with the customer before building is just not something you see in first-time founders a lot. And some of you might be going, oh, that's obvious. That's obvious advice. Validate the customer. I get it. that is obvious advice. But if you've never started a company before and you get into the seat and you start through the motion of building your company, you try fighting the urge to raise capital when other people are encouraging you to raise capital. You try avoiding the feeling of just building what's inside of your head and not talking to customers first. It can be much easier said than done. So let's all give props where props are due. I thought this first-time founder was extremely impressive. He gave off 2 very strong green flags. 1, not caring about his name, and 2, being so focused on customer validation before you're thinking about anything else. All right, maybe in the future I'll come up with some more green flags for you guys to key in on. But until next time, I'll see you on the next episode of The Back Channel.